So this is one incident in Holland when I was a young devotee. They put me in prison in Belgium when we were in the countryside. We got arrested for distributing books in one town. Police would come and give us a paper warning that if we ever come back again, they're going to arrest us. So we had a small area for distributing books. So we would cover Belgium in 2 months and cover Holland in 2 months. It was like a circuit. We give it a 4-month break and then go back to these places. So every 4 months we'd get this policeman giving us another paper. And so after getting a whole stack of these papers, then finally he said, okay, you're all coming to the station. And then, but they were all part of, at that time, the common market. What they would do if you were out of the common market, they would put you in prison, and either you would have the money to get back to your country, or they would keep you in prison indefinitely. So the Sankirtan party, they ended up going back to the temple, and they left me in this big prison. And they gave me a private cell, a small little, like solitary. They had a sink and a little toilet in there. And the devotees, they left me granola, fruits, fresh fruits, some perishable items and non-perishable. They left me a supply for something I could eat. And they left me with a lot of books so I could read Prabhupada's books in the cell. So then I would do Mangal Artik. I made a little altar in the cell. And I really liked it because I was very spaced out. And for me to get my rounds done every day and do my reading and do my book distribution, it would take me a long time to get my rounds done. And so I really relished the opportunity that I could spend many hours reading Prabhupada's books, practically for the first time. And I had a strong desire to be able to really go through the Bhagavatam and absorb Prabhupada's books more deeply. So Krishna arranged for that desire to be filled. And but while I was in there, the guard, I would see his eye in the big steel door. His eye would watch. He would watch me in the cell, doing my Mangal Artik in the morning and japa and reading. I never would go out of my cell. And they became very disturbed that I never went out of my cell, even to go into this little walking area where you could get some physical exercise. I only stayed in my cell. I was very scared of what could go on with the other prisoners. I was pretty apprehensive mixing with them. So I would even take a shower, take my bath in that cell with a metal pitcher and a metal bowl, and I would put my limbs with the pitcher over the bowl and pour water on the different limbs of my body, my back. I would put it over this metal bowl, and with the pitcher pour water. And that's how I would take my bath. It was quite an experience. And one day they had me come out because they thought I was on a hunger strike, and they don't allow hunger strikes. And they said that to me. All the prisoners were big room with all these big wooden tables, and all the prisoners were sitting there where they eat the meals. And with all these prisoners all around, they said, we're either you break this fast or we're going to give you intravenous feeding, but we don't allow hunger strikes here. And all the prisoners are really watching this confrontation. And I told them that this is a democracy, and I'm a monk, and I have my rights to follow the principles of my religion. And being vegetarian is very, very strictly part of the practice. And practically there's nothing that you have here with stew, with meat in it. Practically everything either had eggs, with bread. There's no fruit juice or milk. And so even you could drink beer once a week. Coffee and tea was all they had. And so I told them, I'm not on a hunger strike. I have some fruits and nuts and granola, and I'm eating that. I'm very happy with what I have, but I'm not able to eat what you are providing for me. So they backed down, and the prisoners were very impressed because they let me go and they let me continue. And then after a week, the devotees had informed the president, and he got a lawyer to pay for my plane ticket back to America. And so they arranged that, and then they put me on a bus with other prisoners going from that big countryside prison out in the country to Antwerp, where there was a big city prison. And from there, the next day, they were going to bring me to the airport and put me on a plane. I was with the police. And then from there, I went to New York, and I did Sankirtan in New York City from West 55th Street. And we had that big high-rise temple on West 55th. So I'm still on the road, still doing Sankirtan, now with Padayatra India. I've done it a total of about 11 years. This time I've been with Padayatra since January 2009. And it's a place, I fit in, you know. I joined on the road, traveling Sankirtan, Padayatra, India. I love it. So, Hare Krishna.